They ask me if I am a poet, like I'm supposed to be this way, talk this way, speak this way, be this way. I live by my own code, unturning every stone, listening to my ambitions run me wild. As I replay time in my own mind, maybe I made a wrong turn. Google Maps gave me the conclusion. Way back then, I knew English class was my first language. I never felt stupid in reading class. As each grade passed, I found myself engulfed in stories, parables, movies, always wanting to know the introduction and short story, envisioning me as the main character. It was easier to be them than my own character. You see, literature and I had a love affair back then, placing my insecurities on fake romances, reading, watching, believing in every word I read, from the Bible to my studies up until each job that made me listen to what the manager said. I made up in my mind a long time ago that I would never grow old, live under society's pressures, breaking, taking my joy for their own pleasure. Life, heartbreak, setbacks will do that to you. But boy, I'm happy I got back to you. I miss you, my friend. It all started with a paper and a pen. I never knew back then what I know now, the gift of gab. It is a work of art like me when I'm carefree. I'm finally getting back to the real me. No fake validations or checking the scale. This is me. I was meant for this. They ask me if I'm a poet, like I'm supposed to be this way, talk this way, speak this way. I'll always be this way. My words are like brimstone and fire. Flame emotions speak through my soul, convicted with the feeling of being alone. That's how I know I am a poet.
Yes, I am a poet. Gonna pass the mic back to AJ1.
Now I'm gonna shoot it right on down to the boogeyman. Let's go, Boogie.
All right, this is for the brothers in the room and just for men in general. Title of this poem is Emasculation. I've cried in secret, stored tears in crevices of the heart that have begun to leak and dilute blood, pulse, and feeling. I've raged in hiding, tucked away anger in organs and limbs, limiting movement, possibilities, and life expectancy. I've swallowed emotions, forced them down the throat, digested them, and poisoned tongue, mind, and senses. I have lived the limitations of this so called manhood, and I am not happy here. Tears have emasculated more men than slavery. Emotions have incarcerated more men than prison. Mouths of women have testified to this. Mouths of women have been the jailers. Mouths that speak hunger for passion, vulnerability, sensitivity, honesty, the shedding of machismo and bravado. Mouths claiming that their thirst can only be conquered by the strength to cry and to admit limitations. But the same mouths say, sensitive men taste like sissies. Compassionate men taste like suckers. Honest men taste cruel. Strong men taste heartless. Vulnerable men taste weak. Average men taste undesirable. And emotional men taste like women. The same mouths question why they've never tasted a good man. Men construct boys not to cry, complain, or show emotion unless it's necessary, but never install the understanding to teach them when it's necessary. So boys don't cry, complain, or show emotion. Tired of being labeled crybaby, sick of being dismissed by ill men who dress them in, stop being a little girl insults. Planted in callousness, boys grow into petrified men who aren't proficient at intimacy, and they are demonized for it. Backed up tears crystallize into indifference. Hands that never touch with sensitivity punch in frustration. Mouths that never release vulnerability eat life and spit fire. Feet that never walk toward the truth run to lies. Humans who are not allowed to be human embrace the inhuman, are usually labeled animals, are usually referred to as men. Want to be human without punishment. Want to be gentle without ridicule. Understand that emotion is human. Tears are cleansing. Vulnerability is growth. Strength is honesty. Honesty is knowing the limitations of strength is not being able to carry the world. It is the willingness to use understanding before judgment, love before abandonment, and telling the truth to boys before they're disfigured into dysfunctional men who abuse their women and eat their young. I have cried in secret. I have raged in hiding. I have swallowed emotions. I've lived the so-called limitations of this manhood, and I'm not happy here.
Yes.
Mm, mm. Oh man, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yes. Dope. Dope, dope.
Um, that's that's real. That's real. Hey Lee, what's next?
The mic's on me. Next up to bless our mic again is Michael. You ready, Michael? Bless
Yes.
our mic.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Black woman, I apologize in advance and for the past for any hurt I've caused because of my trauma. Black man, your mental health is important. You see, I can see now. It took me a while, I must confess, but I had to get this guilt off my chest. You see, I've been battling the dark cloud for as long as I could believe. Black man, the cloud follows you. Even when you have glimmers of sunshine and feel like you're very fine, and then on the drop of a dime, you lose your juice. Stuck in your Batman and you lose your Bruce. Stuck in a line of fire and you cooked your goose. Maybe, just maybe, I bit off more than I could chew, knowing the long suffering that comes from this disease. Maybe I gave myself too much to do. Who knows? Screw you. When it comes to pushing Jesus away, I can nail it every time. Ducking undercover, trying to dwell up in my shrine in this makeshift fortress of mine. Maybe I should just close my eyes and make believe. I could ask Steve not to find me, as my poppy not to die, as my eye not to cry from the bullshit in front of me. I let go and I let God. I let go and I let God. I let go when I let God. When do I get to be free? Not that anyone has enslaved me, but I have enslaved myself. You see, my master lives inside of this depressed mind. Tell my lips to move and they move. Tell my hands to clench and they clench. I spent so many days trying to think about ways how to overcome what has now become my worst enemy, me. But this is not me in the truest sense, no. See, this is too prideful to admit that I'm wrong, me, arrogant me, depressed me, pretending to be something I'm not me. This is woe is me. The world is burning and my bridges are soaked in gasoline, me. I'm going to be free one day. I've seen the perils of my most gifted thoughts fall wrath to subliminal warfare. And despite the whole affair, I still believe that me will make us free. Could you believe that anything I've ever achieved has been in spite of me rather than because of me? Because sometimes me can't stand the sight of seeing me succeed, but I can and I will because his will says I will. And he might as well make a will because he doesn't have much time left. I plan on putting all distractions to bed. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't have him in bed with me. I meant to say rest. And in spite of what was said, I can be a healthy me. I can be I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I repeat it 3 times like Beetlejuice in hopes that he becomes someone else. But in the end, it's still me. And we are still we. He must go. He doesn't serve the collective. His vision is narrow and his thoughts are petty. But how do I let go of a bag that I've been holding on for so long that I don't know what life weighs like without it? How do I let go of someone who tells me every day I'm not who I am and who I am is nothing or no thing at all when I'm slowly tearing myself down? Is it simply a misstep or a never-ending graceful fall? But maybe the fall wouldn't be graceful at all if I acknowledge I had no one to call, no one to break my fall, no one to tell me that we all make mistakes and there's no worries at all. You catch my drift? It's like a window open with a never-ending drift blowing in my face, reminding me of my discomfort. I cheated on myself with things. I cheated on myself with mediocrity. I cheated on myself with everything I decided to do that wasn't in line with my purpose. And if it doesn't bring me closer to my maker, then what's the purpose? Poem.
Damn.
Fire.
Thank you.
Fire. Thank you so much for that piece. Passing the mic back to AJ.
What you think of the show so far, Dre?
I think it's fire. I told you from the beginning. I already knew it was gonna be dope. Everybody up here, this lineup, dope, 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 fire, fire, fire. They are
All stars. All stars.
all
Brother
stars.
Brandon, I'm gonna pass the mic to you, but I do have to ask you. This isn't the first time that I met you, is it? When you were speaking, I thought that you were in a studio or something. You in LA, right? Are
Me,
you in
I'm
it?
in LA, but I'm not sure when. Like, I live in the Inland Empire, but I've been in LA. I mean, I perform.
You've been in LA.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a pleasure. I'm gonna pass the
Nah, man.
mic to you. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yo. So I'm excited. I'm really torn. I've been going through like what poem should I do? Because I had the chance to share with this space before, and I did poems that some people have heard. Like I have my feature poem, like this little boy that goes with my book. I have another new poem called River that I've kind of performed, but I'm still working through. So I'm a little torn where I don't know what to perform.
Do this little boy. I love that poem.
Yeah. I was actually okay. All right. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, just making sure I'm still able to be heard. All right. Did it turn?
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned.
Did it turn back? There we go.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Y'all remember my first real poem? I sat at the computer while my tears stroked the keyboard, my pain unlaid within the stanzas, and my anger lashed out in metaphors. I repeated why from line to line, questioning the character and purpose to God's design. Like this one individual couldn't belong there. But I thought this one distributor of sorrows and agony couldn't be cut from the same cloth as me. I mean, had I arrived from those loins? And couldn't he see that my bloodshed didn't accept from which he came to be, but yet this was my reality? And it didn't belong in your picture perfect TV sitcom scene. I grew up in a different world where my family matters didn't fit, and how my brother, mother, cousin, and uncle feel would shake up my wheel. See, I was no Fresh Prince, and my life was unfamiliar, so these different strokes would wither away in my good times. And I had no clue where I fit in. In fact, I had a skewed image of what a black man was supposed to look like. In fact, I didn't even like how I looked, so the image of anything was better than this. This is a story of an unidentified human project that was molded into something that nobody could recognize. He became a reflection of what was popular at the moment and always dressed in his best self-consciousness, wrapped in how many different shades of fake could his facade portray. Yet no one took notice. No eyes cut to his cuts that were more similar to battle wounds. He lay prostrate on a mattress made of empty solemnness. He dug holes into his soul, praying someone would come fill his voids, yet he didn't even know how to pray. He repeated practice redundancies, hoping someone heard him scream with urgency, please help me. Yet silence begets silence, and it all muffled his destiny. This little boy was dying, and no one would come to his rescue. So this little boy had to discover how to tend to his own wounds. He was left mangled, a hideous atrocity. Yet if you look for his disfigurements, I promise that you wouldn't see. This little boy cried on the inside and was flooding internally and left little room for his feelings, so he wore his emotions on his sleeve. This little boy choked on his insecurities because he wasn't taught to swallow things like his pride, and he never understood why they called them memories, because he remembered everything as if life was stuck on repeat, as if life was stuck on repeat, as if life was stuck on repeat, as if life was stuck on repeat. This little boy followed the wrong path because for a minute the road to death seemed a little more pleasing. This little boy thought accolades and self-humiliating behaviors would make life more easy. This little boy was poisoned by pornography and thought love was spelled S-E-X, so he tried to repeat the things he would see. This little boy was lonely and would constantly talk to strangers because at least they heard him speak. This little boy still survives, although he tried to die repeatedly. I'll introduce you to this little boy because he still resides inside of him. Hi, I'm this little boy. Nice to meet you.
Powerful.
Fire.
Powerful. So I realized today in this program that I'm the only one that don't know nobody except Drea and Matri. I'm over here if everybody is not familiar with Matri. No, we all featured up from here with Matri. So yeah, it's a pleasure meeting everybody. I'm blown away, per usual. I can't wait to get up and do my thing with y'all. So Brandon, incredible. That's anthemic. Every one of us from 8 to 80 should hear that. Man.
Yeah.
Hey Lee, mic's on you.
Next, coming up to the mic is, now this guy is phenomenal, and his gift needs to be shared with the entire world, and he's the co-host. Next up to the mic, AJ1.
One.
Look at my brother. It's just a pleasure being here. I'm a student of poetry, and I'm a student of listening actively. And my brother Matri and I, we love freestyling. We love the thrill, the pressure, the endangerment, piecing everything together because it's like jazz. You know, it's phenomenal because we're tapping into the ancestors and they're moving through us. And when we listen, they'll guide us. So on that note, same deal. Melanin coated and habit forming. Amused with a mic that ain't real. But seriously, trust this propensity to flush the main artery, using art with pure heart to eradicate generational poverty, freedom and film, to form fusions in truth by burning illusions. My mind is Morpheusing, matrixing, treating that trickle. She be the teacher, a delta, unlocking magic boxes, survivor, and all-around socializer. Melodic, smooth, and black, becoming other womaning, but grooving it back. The cadence is tasty. The homie Mike Matry. Freestyle and fellowship. We Siamese. Dual beasts, brothers eternal on some mellow shit. Pan-African spoken fest. Man happening. Poetry flow the best. Trauma bonding and sparring with G.O.D. He the OG. Up from here and far from hell. Fire in the inland empire. In the jazz lounge of Raquel. Black woman and man. He let go and let God set the plan. He the Mike and Michael. He the tree and Matry. Attention commanding like my brother Brandon Allen. We namesaking, despite you spelling